How's it hanging, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDoc.com, and Sprint has quite the Android lineup. They started with the Evo 4G, moved on to the Epic 4G, and now the Evo 3D, but they're getting another high-end Android phone. The Motorola PHOTON 4G just came out, and it's available now for $199.99. Now this bad boy goes up against the Evo 3D. Heck, it goes up against the old Evo 4G, and it goes up against the Epic 4G as well, and the Evo Shift 4G. So a lot of 4G options on Sprint, but this is a bad boy. It's got a 1 GHz dual-core NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor, 8-megapixel camera, front-facing camera, and Android 2.3. So out of the box, it's ready to rock and roll on the nation's third largest wireless carrier. Is this the device for you, or should you go with the Evo 3D? Well, you're going to want to check out our dogfight, which is coming up right after I shoot this video, but be sure to check the review, which starts right now as well. First, special thanks to our buds over at Best Buy. There are boys. They hook us up with a lot of phones. And I shouldn't say boys. There are boys and girls, and they hook us up with phones for use in our One Paw Bandit game. So when you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working, and they'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, all that good stuff. Something else, because I put up a fourth finger, but something else will help you walk out working. Best Buy Mobile. Enough of that, let's get into it. Full review. So part 2 of this video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the customizations that have been made, at least at first, the customizations that have been made to Android as a result of Motorola's applications platform being installed over Android 2.3. Because really, you look at it, Android 2.3 is on a lot of things now. It's on the Evo 3D and it's on this. So at least two devices on Sprint, coming to several others. It's on the Evo Shift and a couple of others, but it's on the two high-end flagship devices right now. And so you can see how different these dialers, and I have a dogfight coming up, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but just to show you the difference in comparison, look how different those dialers are, and they're both running Android 2.3. So you can see, here's what Motorola's applications platform looks like. They've really gone with this blue hue, and it looks good. It's a difference from kind of the toyish, playful, whatever you want to call it, that was the original MOTOBLUR. So you can see here the numbers nice and large in island format, and let's see if I can bring up Billy Bob. There's Billy Bob. So you can see whenever you start typing something, it either corresponds to the name or the number. So we'll dial 267, for example. It's going to bring up Billy Bob, and it brings up the two matches. I can click on those and see there. So a couple different options there. Then you can go to recent, see your recent calls, and you can organize this by all calls, missed calls, received, or outgoing. You can go to contacts if you want to, and see your in case of emergency, go down through your contacts, and then you can go to favorites if you want to. So just to show you one of the contacts, Billy Bob, here's what it looks like in Motorola's applications platform, and you can see that the numbers here, and you can text message, and just to show you what it looks like in the edit screen, and let's go ahead and get rid of the keyboard so you can see here all the different options. You can add email, postal address, organization, etc., or etc. rather. So pretty clean and easy to use there. MOTOBLUR is one of my favorites, Motorola applications platform is one of my favorites. The revised version, at least. Hated the original version, but they've really done a good job with the way it looks now. And you'll see that in the gallery of this device as well. So you can see the gallery's changed. You can organize by My Library. You can go to the camera roll. You can go to DLNA. You can go to Friends. So if I take a picture, for example, with the 8-megapixel camera, which we need to do anyway because we need to do a test. So we'll bring down, I feel like I'm cheating here, we'll bring the HTC Evo 3D into this just so we can get focus here on the logo. And you can see the physical camera buttons over here on the side, which I love physical camera buttons. Unfortunately, there's no autofocus option on this camera button, and there's no half press to autofocus. It's either all press or no press. So as soon as I press, it autofocuses on its own. It doesn't allow me to press and hold and get that focus that I want. So let's zoom in on that 3D there as well, just to get an idea of what it looks like really, really up close and personal. So you can see here again the blue hues. There's the logo. But like I said, you have to, the only way you can do it if you want to activate it yourself and use your fingers, you can press and hold here and it'll allow you to focus. But by using the button, as soon as you press it, it automatically takes the picture. So 8-megapixel camera here, it's not the best in the world. It's no match to the iPhone 4, no match to the MyTouch 4G Slide, some of the other awesome cameras, the N8 by Nokia, any of those devices. But it's a decent camera, if the lighting's well, you're outside, sunshine shining down, it's a decent camera and it's going to do okay. Low lit situations, or if you wanted to replace your point and shoot, this is not your device. So, but the gallery, just to show you and go back to that so you can see now we took some pictures. They should show up right here in my library, and then I can go down here and see, of course I can group by certain things. And then here's the video, 720p video I shot a couple of days ago, and put on YouTube so you can see what it looks like with playback on the device.
PhoneDog.com, and I'm testing the 720p HD video recording capabilities on the Motorola PHOTON 4G.
So you can see what it looks like on the device, nice and clean, the image looks good. And again, I'm really, I like the QHD display. It's not the best in the world, there are certainly better ones. Retina looks better to me, Super AMOLED Plus looks better as well, but this one's very, very bright, which is something that the others don't have as much. That's something to keep in mind. Another thing I really discovered that I liked a lot about the Motorola PHOTON, this thing called rich location. We'll go over here, and let's say, we're looking for, let's go to rich location. It's going to bring up coffee, apartments, all the stuff that's around me. So if I want to, let's say, you know what, I definitely could use something relating to beauty, something, absolutely. And so I can go over here and see, let's go down to, let's say, famous hair, for example. Let's go to famous hair, and let's see hair salons, and it's on Sugar Creek Road, so I can check my reviews. So it's really cool because, you get into it, and just to go back here real quick, you can get into local events as well. So I was using this at a restaurant a couple of nights ago, and I just pulled up local events, and it brought up all these events within 20 miles, movie nights, things like that, things that the malls were doing. A lot of different options, so it's very, very cool for those people that, want to know, they're standing down somewhere, they want coffee, they want to find a good restaurant, they want to find some local deals, etc. Active Life, ATMs, whatever. You can automatically go to rich location and it will find it for you as opposed to going to Google. So very, very cool there, and was really impressed with that feature. I actually used it quite a bit since I got the device on Friday. So that's a cool feature. Let's go down here and let's do, what do we want to do next? Let's say, well, we'll do a quadrant standard test. How about that? And we'll go in here to quadrant standard, and I'll talk a little bit more while it's running about the call quality. I mean, I just, been blown away by the call quality. You look at this, and it's kind of funny. You look at this, and the call quality is fantastic. I mean, the earpiece is fantastic. I took this, like I said, to a Sprint dead spot. I said this in part 1, though, so if you didn't watch that, this isn't something new I'm saying. But I took it to a dead spot, and, I never get Sprint service there, or it's so terrible I can't make a phone call, or, hold on to the phone call. 1 to 2 bars with this one. So it's just very, very impressive. If you live in a Sprint fringe area, you travel a lot, or if voice is your primary concern on your phone, this is going to be your device. Now, it looks a lot like an iDen device to me, actually, which looks like the i1 on Nextel, but just a fantastic device. Motorola has always been great in the wireless radio department. Now, that said, Sprint's 3G speeds have been abysmal. I mean, just been absolutely terrible. And I'll show you, I actually had to kick it onto Wi-Fi in part 1 for the browser test, because the 3G just wasn't loading. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not, this is all around Charlotte. I can't speak for other cities because I haven't taken the PHOTON, at least, outside of Charlotte. But I took the Evo 3D outside and had the same issues. So something to keep in mind. And also something to keep in mind, quadrant standard, take it with a grain of salt. It is a benchmark, performance tool. You can use LinPack, you can use SmartBench, a lot of different options. And this may or may not be the most accurate score. But for a benchmark, this is what we're getting, 1,901 on quadrant standard. So 1,901, no comparison to the 3,300 that the Galaxy S2 gets, also on Android 2.3, but with a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor, but still very speedy, and it's all about the day-to-day performance. And I can tell you, in day-to-day performance, I've had no lag whatsoever. Been very pleased with the performance of this device. It's very quick, very speedy, no issues whatsoever. So I've been very pleased. Let's take a look at the speed test. I'm actually going to kick it off Wi-Fi so you can see how disappointing the 3G speeds are. And we'll turn on 4G actually. Let's see if we can pick up a 4G signal in this area. My office isn't the best for Sprint, so we'll keep that in mind. But we'll go down here to speed test and see what we can do. Go in here, and it's showing the sleeping sign, so it looks like it's not going to pick up. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's still trying to find it, but it looks like we're not going to find a 4G signal. So we'll run it on 3G just to show you how abysmal the speeds are here. So we'll load this up right now. I mean, just been absolutely terrible. I mean, I don't expect a lot out of EVDO revision A, but I expect at least 1 megabit per second. It seems to be performing quite well. Or actually, I'm sorry, I just kicked onto 4G, which is why it's performing as it is. So this is 4G you're seeing right now. And still, I mean, for 3G, this would actually be pretty decent. For 4G, 1.87 megabits per second, still slower than Verizon's 3G. So something to keep in mind. And we'll go back and turn 4G off just so you can get an accurate read of 3G. Whoops. Let's go down here into settings, wireless networks. I'm going to turn off 4G just so you can see. You got a 4G, little flavor of the 4G speeds, and I've seen much faster. I've seen this thing go as high as 7 megabits per second on 4G, but it's very erratic. There's no, you know, it's funny, like 7 megabits per second, then it'll be 2 megabits per second, then it'll be 5, then it'll be 1, and then it'll be 4. So, you know, something to keep in mind, you know, Sprint's WiMAX is very erratic, not like LTE where it's a very consistent, a consistently fast speed. So something to keep in mind. Now we're going to run 3G and see what it's like. And we'll test this one out and see. Now, let's see what it does. So you can see right around the 0.29, 0.3 megabits per second. So needless to say, very, very slow and very frustrating when you're loading pages like PhoneDog or ESPN or, you know, a very graphics intensive page and you're not loading the mobile version. That's pretty abysmal for 3G. That's not really acceptable, 0.26 megabits per second. That really should be at least 1 megabit per second. And then on the upload, not 65 megabits per second as it's showing. It's probably going to pop back up here in a minute and say network communication issues, which is what it usually does. It's just been absolutely terrible. And so that's something Sprint really needs to work on. It can't speak outside of Charlotte, but the Evo 3D took it outside of Charlotte to a couple of different cities, to New York and to Atlanta, and had the same issues as Charlotte's having. So it seems like it's a nationwide thing. If you're not having the issue, let me know. You know, on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, or hit me in the YouTube comments as well. But all in all, you know, it's an absolutely great device. The Motorola Photon 4G, the best smartphone in Sprint's lineup right now. You know, it bests the Evo 3D in the radio category, but the Evo 3D bests it in the 3D category. So if you want 3D, you're really looking for an entertainment device, the Evo 3D is going to be your device. If you're looking for something with superior voice quality, you're looking for something where you can roam overseas, and you're looking for, you know, just a relatively all-around speedy device, the Photon 4G is going to be your unit. So it's an awesome device. It's a great welcome addition to Sprint's lineup, and I'm excited to see it on the carrier. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the Motorola Photon 4G. Stay tuned for the dogfight. As soon as I cut this video, starting the dogfight with both of those. Who will win? We're going to have to check it out in the dogfight videos. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. And hey, be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're giving away a ton of tablets as part of our greatest tech giveaway ever. Be sure to check that out, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to kick out the kickstand and put my alarm clock out here so you can see what it does. Pretty cool, huh? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.